Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Port Center Spotlight podcast. It is School Boards Appreciation Week, and with me today on the Port Center Spotlight podcast is our school board president, Mr. Bill Onofry. Welcome to the program, Mr. Onofry.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for coming on. It's good to see you. And again, it's School Boards Appreciation Week. I don't know if that means they're going to give you a raise in the salary that you were.
You know, it's funny. From the day I started to today, the salary's the same.
Haven't got a raise all these years.
Haven't got a raise all those years.
Well, it is Board Appreciation Week. And again, we welcomed Mr. Onofry here. He has served on the board a long time, many different roles, many different committees. You know, in looking at the big picture, Mr. Onofry, you've lived your lifetime in this community. You know, what does it look like now, sitting as president, looking at our school district for you?
Well, you know, every year that I'm on the school board, you know, there's always new things happening and things developing. And when I look back from where we started, when I was on the board 14 years ago and just starting out to where we are now, you know, it's a great thing. I mean, our facilities, our programs in the schools, you know, it's just a great thing to watch our kids grow and everything they've accomplished. You know, it's just a great feeling.
Yeah. And the reputation for Port Jervis around the county, in the schools, has grown in such a great way.
Yes.
And we've become a model district under your leadership here with the board. You went to school here.
Yeah.
Again, you've lived here. Looking at the district now from when you went to school, you know, other than not being a student anymore, what are some differences you see? What are some big differences?
I think the student awareness. I think the way that the educational system has grown as far as the attention to the students and their needs of the students. I will say, you know, when I went to school here, you know, I struggled. I had a reading disability. I was not a great student. And, you know, I kind of felt that, you know, as I went through, I missed out on a lot of opportunities. And when I look now and see what our schools offer for all these kids, and not only for the advanced kids, but for the lower kids that, you know, might be going into technology and things like that, the opportunities are so much greater.
Yeah. And we provide that. And those are decisions that come to you, they come to your colleagues on the board, they come to our school superintendent. Walk me through that process, right? Someone comes up with a crazy idea. We're going to run an after-school program doing blank. And that comes to our superintendent, that comes to you guys. What is that process like to make that decision, yay or nay?
Well, you know, it all starts out with our superintendent, you know, coming to the board and explaining, you know, what the program is or exactly what they would like to implement. And we talk about the pluses and minuses of it. You know, what's the benefit for the kids? What's the cost related to it? So, you know, it's a wide discussion at times. And, you know, you listen to all your fellow board members. You know, we're very fortunate. We have a very diverse board with a lot of great people in all different fields: education, food service, health, safety. So when we get into these conversations, there's some really very good discussions and great points put out by the board. And, you know, we work together and come up with, you know, how we want to handle it, or, you know, or yay or nay to the superintendent on whether we think it's a valuable opportunity or not.
Yeah.
So.
And you've created so many great opportunities for kids. If you guys are watching live, I see Miss Sutton is here. Jump in with a question or comment for Mr. Onofry. Again, it is School Boards Appreciation Week here in Port Jervis. There's a board meeting tonight, and we do appreciate our board members and their service. Mr. Onofry, again, going back to your long tenure here, You live in the community. People are coming to you with good news. People are coming to you with bad news, right?
Mhm.
People are coming to you with praise, and they're coming to you with complaints.
Mhm.
How do you filter those out without never overreacting too much, but also responding?
Well, being on the board, it's like any other job. You take the good with the bad, and it's difficult. And I know it's difficult for parents that come to you and say, this situation is happening, or this took place, and this is very upsetting, or whatever. And as a board member, we do not get involved in actually correcting the situation or actually handling the situation. But it's our job to, listen to our constituents, listen to the taxpayers and the parents and the students, and bring those items to the superintendent so they can be addressed. And there's a process, and the process varies depending on what the situation is, but at least they know that we hear their concerns, and whether it's positive or negative, and we will do our best to at least get it in the right spot to be handled.
Yeah.
So.
And you're very present at the events. People see you, again, being in town, and it is nice that our leaders are present and responding. Our vice president is watching now, Ms. Kara Rapp, and she writes here, Bill's an experienced leader of our board and such an asset, especially during this capital project. Bill, your background, lifetime has been in construction.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a number of projects over the years, but probably the biggest one on our doorstep right now.
Yes.
Let's go into that decision about our middle school,
Mm-hmm.
the construction there, and,
Mm-hmm.
and now the switching of the buildings. I know that was a hot topic
Yep.
for a long
time,
but here we are. So let's talk a little bit about the construction going on now in the district.
Well, I was not a proponent of the project when it started because of the complexity of the project.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you're dealing with 100-year-old building. We all knew that, it was loaded with asbestos.
I think that's where it came from. Is
yes.
that where asbestos was
yeah,
born in
yeah, I think so, because every square inch of the walls in that building were asbestos. But, so for me, for the money that this project was going to cost us, I was not really on board with it. And as everyone knows, we had the estimates done by our architects and our project managers, and the number came up $10 million short. So back to the taxpayers we go and ask for another $10 million. So listen, it was it's a very tough project. It's been, there's been a lot of heartaches through it as we move through it. But I will say that, we are on the go now. So we're at the point now where, things are starting to come together. And I will be the first to admit that it's going to be one beautiful building when we're done. It's the addition on the building for the gymnasium, cafeteria is amazing. And I will say that, I give kudos to the architect for the keeping the character of the building, the new addition with the old building. And when it is done, it's going to be a state-of-the-art building. And, Port can be proud to have it.
Yeah, we certainly are. And the location, being right there in the center of town, the nostalgia of that building. I was fortunate to spend 2 years being a middle school principal there. And I really found, wow.
Yes.
It was such a love of the building. It was such a love of the culture. And I think that had to do with the decision of, no, we got to keep this.
Yes. Well, and that was always part of the big discussion. It's like, this building's got a lot of character. There's a lot of history here. You don't want to get rid of that. But then you start weighing out, the cost of the project. Is it cheaper to build new? Well, it might have been, but because of our enrollment size, the state would not give us money to build a new school. So it was either do, this renovation or some other project. So here we are, and, we're on our way, and our deadline is for completion or substantial completion is August 31st. So, we're hoping to be on that target.
Yeah, and it looks great driving by. Shout out to Mr. Harris is watching, Mr. Witt, both serving on the board here now. Mr. Onofry, my dad was a community board chairman in Staten Island for many years, serving in a similar role as school board chair. Like it had to be approved by the board. But again, stress, complaints, collaboration were all things I saw him deal with. Sometimes things can turn negative. How do you deal with that negativity? How do you deal with constantly people, pecking in terms of maybe what they want, but it's not best for the district?
Well, that is probably the hardest part of being a board member. It's I think when you just have to step back, think about, what the situation is, and know in your own mind that you're making the best decision based on the information you have to you. And it's not always the right answer. It's not always the best answer, but at that time, you feel that you've made the best decision you can,
Your children went through the schools. You have grandchildren now in the schools. What's it like looking now through the lens of your grandchild when you hear about their experience in school? It's got to be heartwarming to hear some of the good things happening for your grandchildren.
It really is. Especially, I have a granddaughter in 7th grade. She's involved and loves music, loves being involved in the musicals. I just want to give a shout out to Bill Harris, because not only is he a great board member, but he puts unbelievable time with our students, and
he was in there yesterday.
Yeah, he's just, it's really a great thing. But to watch my grandchildren and even my children when they went to school, that to get the opportunities or do things that I didn't do. That's a real comfort. It's a real joy.
Middle school has a fall show coming up here.
Yes.
We'll be getting the advertisement out for that. Miss Amato gives a shout out here as well. So, Bill, looking again, a lifetime serving here in the district, but 14 years as a school board member. Leadership, right? We have a tremendous leader now here. All of our principals, all directors, so many of our teacher leaders. Tell me about leadership in the district. What are some things that you look for in our staff, in our leaders, in terms of that hiring and in terms of the people running our district?
Well, I think that the most important thing is, when a board picks a leader, we need somebody who we know is going to be a mover and a shaker, and we need people that are going to give opportunities to our kids and do whatever it takes to give them the best education possible.
Yeah. And we've had a tremendous run of people coming and staying here, right? I remember when I got here, there was an issue with turnover. People were leaving, and we've made it a place where people want to come and stay.
Yes. Yeah. It's, I think we have a great team now, like anybody else, we have our ups and downs, and we don't get it right all the time. But I think that there's a real desire by the administration, by our principals, and by our teachers to do whatever they can to make the children in this school successful.
That's an organic thing, that desire, that willingness, right? You show up to work, you do the job.
Yep.
But when there's that organic desire, I think it makes great opportunities for kids. There really seems to be a sense of teamwork in this current state we're in now. Again, Dr. Bell being here, these building projects. We just took some more advancements with our fields, turf fields coming up. We have a big facelift coming to Gwinnett Field, historic Gwinnett Field. you know, all these moving parts coming together as school board president. What does that feel like for you?
Well, I think the one thing when you talk about that, when you talk about collaboration and working together, when we approached Mr. Bell to come back here, one of the issues was, as you know, that we were going to try to keep the 7th grade in the middle school during construction. And the board was adamant that that was not acceptable. And so we gave Mr. Bell the directive to say, one of the first things you're going to do here is we got to find room to house our kids during construction. And Dr. Bell came in, he met with all the administrators, the staff, and said, we're not going to talk about if we can do this, we're going to talk about how we're going to do this.
Here's what we're doing.
And this is what's going to happen. And everybody jumped on board.
Yeah.
So it was like, everybody pitched in, everybody was, well, I can give up this room and I can move to this section, or I can do that. Everybody was bought into getting it done. And that's what's going to make your district successful. People need to buy into the goodness and want to be part of the improvement.
Yeah. And to watch it happen, everybody was like, oh my God, this is going to be, and sure,
yes.
there was some stumbles.
Oh, absolutely.
But it was such an organic, beautiful thing that our middle schoolers could continue to see their ASK teachers.
Yes.
Our middle school teachers could see the kids in high school.
Yep.
And it really created some beautiful memories, some beautiful relationships.
And remarkably, very little complaining from anyone. Students, staff, administration, no complaint. We're going to do what we need to do. And I heard that more times from people say it, hey, this is what we need to do to make it go, and this is what we're going to do. And that's a great thing.
Shout out to the teachers who moved their things out of the way to make room for the middle school, and then certainly those middle school teachers and the staff moving out of that building. There was a lot of stuff.
And I know it's going to be a big sigh of relief when we get into the new building and everybody can take a big breath and say, I don't know how we managed it, but we did it. And now it's breathing room for everybody,
And Dr. Bell brought that to us. And again, it was a great show of collaboration there. So another thing we're jumping through right now, Mr. Onofry, the state of schools, the state of the country, school violence, gun violence, and Port Jervis has been very proactive in terms of keeping our buildings safe, the upgrades in terms of safety, personnel, and products.
Yes.
Tell me about, your involvement there and those conversations.
Well, truthfully, a lot of that, the credit goes to the administration, to the principals, for, collaborating and coming up with different ways to improve safety in our schools. We are, as a board, we did discuss this glass safety that we're doing on the first floor windows of all the schools. So that's a big thing. But, we have a tremendous safety committee. The teachers are involved, the administration's involved, the local police department's involved. A lot of great collaboration there to continually look for ways to make sure that our students are safe in their environment.
Yeah. Shout out to the Port Jervis Police, Deer Park Police.
Yes, absolutely.
Having our local police officers in our buildings who know our kids, who know our parents. Yeah. They were students there.
Yes.
It's a tremendous, it's a tremendous thing.
Yeah. And, as a benefit to the board, Jason Kamar is involved in this daily through the county sheriff's department. And, the information he brings to us is tremendous, and that's what I mean about the board being so diverse that we have some really excellent feedback, from our board members.
Again, a lot of them tuning in here. School Boards Appreciation Week this week. If you do see our school board members out and about, give them a thank you. It is a tough job where there's not a lot of positivity, but more complaints.
Yeah.
And kudos to you, Mr. Ryan.
Well, thank you
for the time. Right.
Yeah.
This wasn't a one-shot wonder here.
No,
you've done it a long time.
I've done it a long time, and I work with a lot of wonderful people. Yeah. I mean, I've been on, like I said, this is my 14th year. I've worked with a lot of people on the board. I will say that the present board is one of the best I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
Great bunch of people, and just, willing to listen, willing to discuss, willing to accept. As board members, we don't always agree on, but the majority speaks, and we are accepting of that, whatever it is.
And beginning with the end in mind, these decisions that are create great things for our kids is just, it's really nice. It's nice to see, and it's nice to see the progress over the time of, like you said when we started the show here, where we were, and where we are now.
Yes, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's and I've had this discussion a lot with my wife. When I look back at what my education was, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I got a good education in Port, but I will tell you that the opportunities that are here now for our children far exceed what they were when I went to school.
Mr. Onofry, it's a small community. We all are intertwined. What would you say to somebody who might be thinking about, hey, I'd like to run, or I'd like to run again? For the board, what advice would you offer them?
I think it's it's great to want to do public service. The only thing that I will say is that to be a good board member, being a board member is about being a team. And the only thing, and I've seen it happen in years past, that some people run with a one-item agenda. And that does not work. It's yes, everybody has a desire that when they come to the board of something that they would like to see, whether it be more development in special ed, or the physical condition of our buildings, or just college courses. So these are all great platforms, and as long as you're willing to listen and discuss and be part of it, I would recommend it to anybody. It's a great feeling. It's a lot of work. It's not always pleasant, but it's very rewarding. And Port, and I don't have to tell you, Andrew, Port's a kind of a unique community. If anybody really wants to get a good look at Port Jervis, come to Scholarship Night.
Oh.
This little community gives over $200,000 in scholarships from different organizations, even individual scholarships and stuff. It's an amazing. Port has always come together. When chips are down, families are in need, whatever. It's a great community.
Yeah. My first experience, Mr. Onofry, I don't know if you remember, was the flood in 2005.
Oh, right.
My first day on the job, we didn't have school because of the flood. I had never seen a polka concert in my life until the Jimmy Sturr concert. And bam, we're $13,000 more for our kids with a volunteer concert.
Right.
But that was my first experience of seeing the community come together.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, it's do we have our issues? Yep. Every community has them.
Yeah.
But when the chips are down, Port is one of those communities you want to be part of.
Agreed there. Our schools are shining, our staff, our students are shining. Again, it all falls under the board, our superintendent, and the action happens tonight, right? We have a full agenda tonight. But it's great. It's great to see these things, and now even these opportunities to be more connected with the public through Facebook and these kinds of things, really going forward. Mr. Onofry, anything that you wanted to touch on that I didn't ask you?
No, I just want to thank my fellow board members. Everybody is very helpful, and they're always willing to do whatever is asked of them. And, that's what I think makes us a unique board. And I really enjoy working with the members, and it's a great part of my life.
We're moving forward together as a community and a district. Again, Mr. Bill Onofry, our school board president. It is School Board Appreciation Week. If you are watching this on recording, leave us a comment. Leave a thank you to our board members, because there is a lot of angst, there is a lot of hard decision making, and there's not a lot of thank you. So on behalf of the district, Mr. Onofry, I thank you today.
Wow.
I thank our school board members. I know we'll hear some more of that tonight, but it's been an honor to have you on. Appreciate it.
Thank you. A pleasure being here, and thank you.
All right. Mr. Onofry, everybody, longtime Port Jervis resident and certainly a friend of our schools. Check out all the things that are on our Facebook page, on our website. There's so many upcoming great events happening. There's a couple information nights at the secondary level. The first trimester progress reports are coming up. So many good things. So check us out. Again, Mr. Harris giving a shout out for the middle school fall show, Happily Ever After. One night only, Thursday, November 2nd. So we'll give them a shout out as well. But we are going to sign off here on the Port Center Spotlight podcast with our school board president, Mr. Onofry. Thanks again, Mr. Onofry.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right. Let's see if I can get our music back going as we end. It's been an honor to have this podcast running. Thanks for tuning in. And again, leave us a question or a comment in the chat. Where's the video, Mr. Onofry? I'm going to get it here somewhere. Here it is. See you, everybody.